coming up with a huge pick in order to try and, you know, just help her team out a little bit.
Traveling to Route 66.
Sorry for that quick delay there. Internet doesn't like me very much. Alright, we're looking at Betashocks right now. It seems like Evil Zur is going in. He's in the backline, but again, you know, they have a ton of time here. Squiggle finding those peaks. Evil not really able to keep it up. And Flexecution is doing his, you know, he's getting those picks in the backline, and Squiggle and Flexecution once again dashing through the Tracer. It seems like they're going to cap here. And, you know, Betashocks really bringing that one home. There, you know, they looked a little unsteady during second point, but they managed to finish it out in the end, which is the key point here. They've taken a 2-1 lead over top of the Siege, but you know that was a really close match. Came down to the wire, less than a minute left, and you know I really feel like in the end the DPS for Betashocks may not have been finding as many, or the Siege may not have been finding as many picks, but they were definitely doing a ton of work. They were definitely doing a ton of work for their team, managing to find those crucial picks at the end of fights that were really needed, and that kind of just, you know, they couldn't bring it home completely there, but if they continue to have that kind of performance, I think they're going to be in a good spot.
30 seconds.
And we are back with the Betashocks versus the Siege. The Siege now electing to defend first, and you know the pressure's been put onto the Betashocks. They really got to perform here, and you know the Siege they've been pretty good at defense. So I kind of like to see how this goes down. Sorry, the Betashocks have been pretty good at defense. So we'll have to see how this one goes down. The Siege rolling out with a double main support lineup, but also with the Mei. So I wonder how this one's gonna go. Once again, the standard double shield coming out from the Betashocks, and we'll see. We're gonna have to see how this one goes. I actually think Nano Blade could be very useful on a 2 CP map. There's a lot of space to break, and what a walling off 3 of them. But Reinhardt dropping low really quickly. The immortality comes out to save him though, and Little Demon and everyone else in that small left side corridor just get wrapped up. Once again, the Mormon managing to bounce, you know, his hyperspheres off of those walls and finish him off. Let's see if he can get. Oh, he just barely cannot. He barely cannot finish off Foxicon. But you know that was a well done fight. Reinhardt almost falling though. Maybe if a little more focus had come out from the side of the Betashocks, they would have been able to kill Reinhardt before the immortality managed to come out and save him from Brugge. Moidy getting very close to that nano, so we'll see how this round goes. Maybe if they can drop that nano. The really early immortality here doesn't let Reinhardt swing very quickly. We'll see if this nano comes out. It goes onto the Mormon, and we'll see if he's able to get anything done. The shield's kind of being planted in his face. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pressure anyone out. And Reinhardt dealing with his own issues on the side, and Mangone trying to kill Flexecution, and he manages to do it. The Mormon also finds a pick on Kegel, so we'll see how this goes. And now King Thor's been booped out of position by the Ryan charge, so this kind of just fell apart for the Foxicon hopping over the rock. This kind of just fell apart for the Betashocks. And you know, once again, or now, instead of the C or the Betashocks being the ones that have the huge ult advantage and are holding really strongly on defense, it seems to be the Siege. Oh, and what a sleep on Squiggle, but he gets walled up and blocked off by Little Demon's shield. And a square coming out really early, gets eaten by Kegel. Flexecution dropping really low. We'll see how this goes. Squiggle does have the blade, and the rally is coming out. Blizzard ult coming in. We'll see if they manage to capitalize on it at all. Squiggle does use the blade here. Manages to find one, manages to find two. Let's see if he can find any more. I'm not sure if the Siege do use Bob here, but it seems like it's just going to be the end of that fight. Squiggle finding a huge number of kills there. Finding 5 there to wrap up the fight, and you know that was an overinvestment on the part of the that was really an overinvestment at the end there on the part of the Siege. You know, they didn't use either one of their tank ults, but they did use the Blizzard, and they didn't really get much out of it. And then Squiggle came in with the blade and kind of just wrapped it up behind there. And Moidy once again drawing close to that nano, but neither DPS ults are up, and the Reinhardt and you know the Ryan and the Sigma ults coming out for the Shock. Taking a bottom right rotation. What an interesting thought here. It's actually a pretty good rotation, but they don't have a Lucio to speed it up, so I wonder if it'll be useful at all. Reinhardt getting a really aggressive charge, and Kegel finding getting picked before he can get any kind of kills with his flux. But Reinhardt trying to charge into that room, and he gets killed immediately. But the Mormon getting nanoed here, and it looks like he's going to find a huge number of picks way to pop off. The Mormon gets 4 with his Gravitic Flux and his Nano in that small room, and you know that was a really good hold there. You know that rotation is tricky to deal with because it's so close to the it's such a small corridor, and if the Betashocks had been able to get on point, I'm not sure if the Siege would have been able to deal with it. So that's a great hold from them there. And they only invested 2 ults, which is even better. But once again, the DPS kind of look like they're lacking in the terms of ultimate charge. They're not really farming up a ton of charge in those long, extended fights. Evil kind of just poking out that Genji. Once again, a bottom right rotation coming out. Let's see if Reinhardt can get a huge shatter here. Hopefully he's able to. But otherwise, they're going to be stuck in a hard spot. Mangone coming down behind them, and Reinhardt just gets blasted down. Mangone freezing someone up. He gets Flexecution, but that's not really going to do it for them. They needed Reinhardt's shatter in order to try and win this fight. Evil still has his Bob, or is coming close to his Bob, so maybe they can hold it with that. But you know the picks are rolling in from are rolling in from Betashocks, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to hold. Reinhardt still has the Shatter. We'll see if he's able to get anything out of it. The Blade coming in from Squiggle. Once again, manages to find 2. Mangone now going to get focused down, but he freezes up just in time. Reinhardt doesn't get anything with his Shatter, and Mangone close to the Blizzard, but he gets picked again. Evils are close to the Bob. Let's see if Reinhardt can contest at the last second, and he can't. Close to 4 ults for the Siege, and they just don't manage to hold on. And, you know, that's rather unfortunate. I really think Reinhardt should have used that Shatter earlier. He is against double shield, but even if he gets one person, that can help his team change the pace of the fight. And you know, without a Lucio to really help him engage, I think he just needs to go for the solo shatters in that situation. Just get 1 pick, just get 2 picks, and you can sweep the rest of the fight just with your DPS. But he's not really looking for that, and the Mei walls weren't really proving that effective. You know, they went bottom left, and, you know, the Mei wall could have walled them as they came out of that small corridor, but it never really happened. She had to wall like 5 people, or she didn't wall anyone, which is a big problem here. And I'm not sure if they're going to want to keep the Mei. Yep, they switch off the Mei here. Moity once again playing the Ana, which is an interesting thought. You know, putting the Nano onto the Mormon is a great play, right? Because the Mormon's been doing really good. But I'm not sure if it's really that advantageous for their comp. And here on defense, the Betashocks are rolling out on a really strange comp where they have to use, they're running a Winston Orisa, which is kind of strange, with an Ashe Genji, which is a little more normal, and Bat Brick. So I wonder how Kegel and Squiggle are going to be kill. The Winston for Betashocks is going to be able to contend with this. He doesn't really have a lot of long range healing, so you know, a lot of frontline pressure is gonna get them killed. Evil laying the Sombra. What an interesting play here. Let's see where they TP to. Probably to point, which is going to be a great strat. You know, they're going to bunker up on point. It's going to be really difficult for the Betashocks to regain control of the point, but you know, coming from a lot of different angles, it's very difficult for them to contest the point. And Winston diving in now. Flexecution finds a pick on the BAP. Reinhardt does kill the Winston, but not before the rest of the picks come through, and that's a swept fight for the Betashocks. And they have a ton of ult charge coming up now. Squiggle 80% to the blade, Flexecution 55% to the Bob. Winston is 90% to his primal rage. You know, they did a ton of damage there, and that's really going to benefit them in the long run. And for the Siege, you know, the only person really close to their ult is Brugge, and Evil's just been switching this whole time back and forth from different characters. It's not really going to get that much value. Let's see where they TP to this time. Maybe they have a different strat in mind now that they have you know, a better idea of where the enemy team is holding. Are they going to TP top left? That would be such an interesting strat. Maybe they can get on top of that Winston and just do a ton of damage. They can't really reach it from there though, so I wonder where they're going to head. Kind of just wasting that shield now. That's a strange TP. Not really sure what the intention was there, but you know, it gets them a little bit further out, and they drop down onto Little Demon. And you know, the blade coming out from Squiggle in the back line gets 1, gets 2, and once again we see Squiggle popping off in the back line. And his team's also doing really well at following up on it. So you know, the use of 1 ult there from the Betashocks, and they managed to hold that in comparison to, you know, Brugge used his square, and you know, once again we see the DPS for the Siege are not getting a lot of ult charge. Mangone is nowhere close to his ult, and he stayed on the sim this whole time. I'm not sure if that strategy is really going to work out. And once again we see them going for a TP up here. Not sure if that's the greatest play. The Betashocks have the Primal Rage and the Bob to go into this fight, and they're coming close. They're coming up on the square and the rally, so we'll see whether or not this is a great play. And immediately Mangone gets picked. The Mormon trying to bring it back with his Flux, but he just can't. He came too little too late, and once again, the DPS for the Betashocks popping off. Squiggle gets 3 kills with a dash that fight, and you know, I really just feel that the DPS for the Betashocks are doing so much better than the DPS for the Siege, and that's really been the big change. And once again, we see the DPS changing, but like, they're so far behind an ult charge, I might just stay on to get the ult, like to keep the ults, the ult charge that you built up this whole time. Evil going on a strange flank here. Let's see if he can do anything. He isn't really engaging. Maybe he can get a pick on Flexecution here. Oh, he gets Flexecution with the one clip. What a great play there. Gonna push him back. Squiggle has to dash out. They're taking a lot of space here. Let's see if Evil Reinfard misses the shatter completely. It's not good. King Thor pops the rally here, and the squares came out by Foxicon, and Squiggle once again finding a pick in the backline. Not great. Mangone doesn't even notice him. And, you know, it's time to just die and reset. You know, maybe you can come in next fight and you hope you can touch point and get off your rally and your square and win the fight. But, you know, it seems like Betashocks has a really great ult economy coming into this with the blade and the bongo and the bob charging up. You know, that bongo is going to help charge that bob, and I really think that's going to be hard. Brugga switching off at the last second. That's the only ultimate they have. Reinfard is going to touch with the ball, but I'm not sure if they're able to really get anything done here. And the touch came too little too late. The blade coming out of Squiggle once again. He gets one, he gets two. Is he going to get three? Team assist from the kill on the Mormon. There's still someone touching point. The Mangone has been eliminated. And, you know, the Betashocks end up taking this series 3-0. Kind of a strange end to the series where we thought these two teams were so evenly balanced, and the Siege even took the first map off of the Betashocks. And I'm not really sure what went wrong there, right? You know, maybe those strange comps had a huge impact. You know, the Betashocks just seemed to find a way to play around those, and the Siege kind of fell apart after that. Once Reinfart had to switch off of the Roadhog, it didn't seem like there was much left to really continue. Or there wasn't much left in the gas tank after they switched off that strange comp, and not really sure if, you know, it's just if the Siege is really just only good at strange comps, or if it's something else entirely. Maybe it's a team thing. Maybe they just got toxic at one another and they couldn't really decide on a strat. But, you know, looking at the end of that game, the DPS for Betashocks were really so much better than the DPS for the Siege. The DPS for them, they didn't even build a single ult in the attack round on Hanamura. While the Betashocks' DPS, Squiggle was popping off in the backline constantly. If he wasn't blading, then he was getting a pick or two, using his dash reset, and maybe it was just better focus from his teammates, but, you know, it really seemed like their DPS just, you know, played at an overall higher level than the DPS for the Siege, and that kind of just ended the match for them. Again, just highlights from this game. The Mormon looking really strong when he was coming out on the Sigma, and the Zarya he was very good at too. Not sure if the Zarya really fits into this current meta, but it was still strong from him. The off tanks or the flex tanks from both teams in Kellikil, or Kegel as I call him, they both look really strong. Kegel Sigma was very strong from what we saw of him, and Squiggle coming through with that blade. Those blades in the end on Hanamura were huge. They were super impactful. They helped change the pace of the fight. And, you know, it seemed like the Siege just kind of got overwhelmed after they had to switch off of their regular comp. But overall, it was a great match to watch. It was a lot closer than one would think. Oasis, the Siege actually took that. After that, we had Blizzard World, and, you know, that was still a very close match, even though the Siege was full health. They drove the Betashocks down to under a minute for their hold, and then Route 66 was also very close. It came down to the wire again, under a minute for the Siege. And I think if their DPS can perform at a bit of a higher level, they might really be able to bring home the win if they ever have to go up against the Betashocks again. But overall, a really great match, and I'd be excited to see these two teams play again. We have a couple highlights coming up after this, and I hope you guys will stick around for about 5 minutes so that you can watch them together with me. Thank you very much for joining me here. My name is Nervy. I was your caster and your production for today, and I hope you enjoyed. And remember, please stick around for the highlights.